morning students. I hope you all are doing well at your places and taking the utmost care of yourself. So let's start today's video lecture. But in previous video lecture we have discussed about the introduction, the definition of constitution and the working of constituent assembly, and also we have discussed about the preamble in detail. So okay students, then as you can see in this image, this is the first page of our constitution, which is known as the preamble. See how it is written over here. As you can see, this is the same image as you are having in the textbook. So this is the actual page of preamble. Here it is written, as you can see, that we will provide justice in every means, social, economic and political. We will provide liberty to each and every citizen of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, and also we will provide an equality of status and opportunity, and we will maintain the fraternity among all the nations. Okay. So now we will move further. So today we will discuss about the pillars of preamble. These are the three important features of preamble, pillars of the preamble: democracy, socialism, socialistic and secularism. Okay, so we will discuss about all these three terms in detail. Okay, let's start with democracy. You know very well that the democracy is first of all a system of governance. There are many types of system of governance are there in the world, like democracy, monarchy and socialistic. Communalism. So here the democracy is also having the two types, which are the presidential and parliamentary. We know very well that we have discussed in previous standard, parliamentary and presidential. So there are two types of democracy as well. So India is having a parliamentary democracy. Okay, so in a parliamentary democracy, the total power lies in the hand of the people, and this is what exactly means of democracy. Democracy, if we bifurcate the word democracy, there are two Greek words, demos and kratos. So demos means a people and kratos means power. When we combine these two words, it is clear meaning that a people's power. Okay, so in a democracy, ultimate power lies into the hand of people only. So that's why in democracy we are having a very simple definition: by the people, of the people and for the people. This simple definition was given by the American USA President Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln gave this definition: by the people, for the people and of the people. That means ultimately in a democracy the people will be in the center. Okay, why? Because here the people are having the right to choose their representative, and on behalf of the people, that candidate will look after the country. Okay, we have seen that many of the ministers, like in elections, we are casting our vote to our favorite candidate or any of the choice of the candidate. So that candidate, if the candidate won the election, they will come in a power, but there is also time period. There is a tenure of 5 years only, and after 5 years, if they have worked well, in their tenure, during their tenure, so the people will repeat them, or if they don't, then people will remove them. Okay, this is very clear funda, and that's why it is clearly said that the ultimate power lies into the hand of people. Okay, so people are electing their candidate for governing a country, and the democracy, the peoples are having the ultimate power. Is it clear? Now, which people can cast the vote, or which people can choose their respective leader, their perfect leader, candidates? So there is a universal adult suffrage in our country. It is clearly mentioned that the candidate should be 18 years of age or above, 18 years or above the age. Okay, all these 18 years and above, 18 years of age or above the 18 years of age, they can cast their vote. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, race, gender, birthplace, economically literacy. No, there is not a single barrier for casting their vote, and this is called universal adult suffrage. But there is also one condition is mentioned: that candidate name should be in the electoral placed, then and after only they can cast their vote. So this is called universal adult suffrage. Okay, is it clear? Now we will discuss about the second feature or pillar, that is socialism. So socialist means, first of all, this word was added after. See, both these words, not only this, but both these words were added. Take a second. Let me just clear something. Socialism and secularism, both these words were added during the 1976 42nd Amendment. Amendment, that means changes. During the 42nd Amendment during 1976, socialism and secularism, both the word has been added in the Constitution. Now, why we have added the socialism? Because by adding this, we are just declaring ourselves that in India there is a social revolution, and we believe, our constitution believe in an equal society. There should be no differences or there should be no discrimination in our society. That's why for the same we can develop. See, you know very well, if you are having a developed society, so it is directly reflect your progress. Okay, if your country's progress. Okay, so there should not be any kind of inequality in society. Now see, I am just giving an example. You know very well that 95% of economy of our country lies on the 5% people hand, and 5% economy of entire country lies into the 95% people. So this is a vast gap in our country, and our constitution was not like the constitution believed that this should be happen, and that's why they have word socialism in our country. So what can I say, that clear motto was that only this should not be done. This should not be done because we are believing in equal society. Okay. Now the third word is secularism. What is the meaning of secularism? The secularism word is directly related to religion. So our country is a secular country. Secular country, that means the country not believe in a particular religion. Not any particular religion. The country is not involved with the religion as well. Okay, like take an example of Pakistan. Pakistan has declared that Pakistan is an Islamic state. That means they are following Islam, and also they are pressurized their citizens to follow the Islam. But in India, we know very well there are many religions, much religions. Peoples are living here. So, and also from the ancient times, we are the welcomed people. We welcome all the religion in our country. That's why we have seen that blender, mixture of religion in our country. So constitution also allowing to all these people to live together, to live in harmony and maintain the integrity and unity of the country and develop together. Okay, so the secularism means that country will not interfere with any of the religion activity, country will not support any of the religion activity, country will not spread any of the religious ideas and their intellect, or what can I say, their values and as well. Okay, all the religions are equal in the eyes of the government. Okay, we are having that Sarva Dharma Sambhav. Sarva Dharma Sambhav. That means all religions are having same feelings. Okay, so this is secularism. And one more thing, all the people are free to choose their respective religion. Whatever they want to choose, they can choose the religion. There is no pressure, there is no rules and regulation to change their religion. All citizens are free. So these are three important pillars of the preamble. I hope you clearly understood what we have discussed today. So this is it for this today's lecture. In next lecture, we will discuss about the salient feature of Constitution. We will discuss some of the top features in the next lecture. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. So I am ending this lecture here only. We will see you in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day. Take care and bye everyone.